Hi everyone and happy Monday. Welcome to a new planner page. This is our first one for August. And I'm looking at it realising that I always find this page rather daunting. And there's a lot of little teeny tiny details in it, isn't there? So the first thing I did to make it simpler for myself was to pick these pencils. These are the Staedtler Ergosoft 36 set, so we haven't got huge numbers of pencils to choose from, and that helps me feel slightly better to start with, knowing that I'm not going to have to be making lots of colour decisions. So that was my first step in simplifying the page. Secondly, I'm going to do a lot of things in the same colour just to make it a little bit easier, but we'll talk about that later. I'm going to actually start right at the top here with, I thought I might do the bigger areas first, so I'm going to start with the canopy. I thought we'd do the wall and things like that, so that and the furniture. So we're doing the larger areas to start with and getting those done. It'll make it easier to see what's going on with the smaller things. So I've decided for the canopy that I would use this number 6, which is I think the violet. I haven't got my colour list with me. We're going to use this firstly. So for the first stripe here, I'm going to use this. Now I'm not going to do any shading with this on this canopy. I'm just going to be blocking in some colour. We've obviously got to colour around the florals on here, which adds to the intricacy, I suppose. So that is my first one, and I'm going to do this lower one. So I'm going to do every other one in this colour. Okay, so there is that one, and then we're going to do the longer one. Now this looks like a pretty cherry blossom. I'm just trying to work out where the colour is going behind it. I'm doing the best I can. That's all I can do. It's all I can ask of myself. And we're going to just methodically work through each little bit. Now I did have a suggestion to just do a multicolour background and a monochrome picture, but it just wouldn't work for this design. There's so much going on, different layers of colour with our sort of furniture and then our items. If I coloured this all in black, you wouldn't see any of these items on the shelves and things like that. So no, that's not, I didn't think that would work for this particular picture. I did, because I was looking at a colour cube card and there was one that was black and orange, and the picture on it had like an orangey sunset and then all the buildings in black silhouetted at the bottom. And I thought that would be the way to treat a really complicated outdoor scene, but not this. We're inside, so it's not quite the right approach, I didn't think. So we're doing it this way. So basically, I am going to be using a range of colours. It's not going to be just really limited, but it'll be fairly limited. I don't remember how I coloured this the first time, but it does seem like a bit of a silly choice for a small planner page. It was detailed enough in the actual book, and this is from Rooms of Wonder, to try and do it at this scale. I think my eyes are going to go blurred before I'm finished, but I'm going to give it my best shot. This is my 4th video of the day, so I'm trying to catch up a little bit because I've got a little bit behind. It's fine, but I've got time today, whereas on Saturday I was out at a party, which was rather nice. Well, did my usual farmers market shopping and grocery shopping Saturday morning, did the cleaning, had lunch, had to hop on a train, go over to the town where my parents live. My sister was at the party too, so she picked me up, which was from the station, because it's about 45 minutes walk to the house from there, which I could do, but obviously it wastes time, and we wanted to get there and help, so we went there. And my sister, we went to the supermarket first and bought food to take to the party. So we bought a variety of things, and so we arrived, and my sister had bought various fruits. She made some fruit kebabs, so sort of mango, kiwi, strawberries and grapes, and made these sort of fruit kebabs. And then I had bought sugar snaps and carrots and different colours of pepper and cucumber and some hummus, and I sort of did veggie sticks to go with hummus. She also bought some lettuce and avocado and a lemon, and she made my mum bought some wraps, so she filled those. She made a sort of just a sort of vague sort of guac with lemon and avocado. She didn't flavour it up because my mum doesn't really have sort of herbs and spices, but also I can't eat chilli, so she just kept it pretty plain, and then put some cubes of pepper and some sprouted beans and lettuce in the wraps. They were rather nice actually. And then I bought some tortilla chips. She bought some crisps, just ready salted. And then other guests brought food too. What my mum does with her parties is she'll make cake, and then she'll ask the guests to bring a savoury contribution. So although my sister did fruit, as long as it's not cake, it's okay. We don't eat cake anyway, so my sister, being vegan, doesn't eat the ones my mum makes, which aren't suitable. But my sister tried not to eat too many sweet things, which is, she's quite aware that, actually, I think it was her cholesterol was high, but she's also aware of the diabetes thing in our family, so she's trying to be a bit careful. Very sensible. So she didn't want to eat any cake anyway, so she did a bit of fruit. And and there weren't that many guests, and my mum basically invited her brother and lots of my cousins, and 2 cousins came. One came from Cardiff and brought her husband and daughter, and then one came from, trying to think, where's the other one come from? Oh yeah, one came from sort of Somerset, I guess. I think the other one lives, I don't know where the other one lives, but anyway, they came up. So 3 cousins actually, 2 of which were siblings, and they all came and brought food as well. So there were like cheesy twists, like puff pastry things, which look rather nice. I can't eat lactose. There were various crackers, sort of a savoury biscuit. There were, I think my mum had bought some Pringles. Then there were 4 quiches, which was a lot for that many people. There was a salmon and broccoli, a tomato and broccoli, a cheese and onion, and a quiche Lorraine. And then there were sort of sausage rolls and sausages and things like that. I didn't really look at those. They got just popped out on the table. So I don't know how much food was left. There must have been quite a lot, because my one cousin, and her brother, they buy enough food to feed like twice as many people as in their group that come. So there's so much food, so very generous of them. And a big variety of things, some veggies, some not. It's really very thoughtful, because they're not veggies, so they get it in case anyone is. Knowing, I think, that me and my sister are, sort of, I'm sort of-ish. And she's a vegan, so she can't eat the quiches because it got eggs and milk and things in. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I think her eldest daughter who was there, she's a veggie, so she had some of the quiche, I think. So that was good. Some of the cheese and onion one. So it was a nice little gathering. Me and my sister were prepping some food and then cooking like the quiches are nice and warm, so we warmed those up, made some drinks, although not many people wanted hot drinks, it was quite warm. And washing up and things like that, because it's getting a little bit much for my parents, you know, so we were just sort of helping with everything that we could, and that was good. And we also nattering to each other, so that was fun. So I really went to see her and my nieces, so that was nice. We were all yapping and having a bit of a catch up and stuff. And then she took me back to the station, so I didn't get home till about 8. I was quite tired by then, too tired to make a video. I don't make videos that late normally anyway, because I can't think of things to say at that late at night. I'm sort of spent. So anyway, and then yesterday we got up quite late Sunday, and I never did the things I was going to do, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And I went for a walk, and when I came back, husband had all these ideas about what he wanted to do to tidy up his stuff in the sitting room, make it all neat and tidy. I was like, oh, so I'm all ears. So I was listening, he was talking, and we were looking up things and sort of ideas going back and forth and things like that. And so by the time we talked about that, it was lunchtime, and continued to talk after lunch. And by the time that we'd sort of finished doing some research and some chatting, we still haven't quite finalised what we're doing, so I've got to wipe my nose. But it was nearly time for the football, which was on yesterday, the European Cup final for the women. Our women ended up winning, hurrah, which was good. So yes, I was watching that. And so I didn't get anything done for 2 days, but not very much anyway. But I did finish a colouring book, so that was good. I did manage to fit in some colouring every day, but on Saturday it was about 5 minutes, because I was out most of the time. But I had fun. It was good. So that's good. Didn't really speak to my parents. It's always funny, isn't it? Go to their house for a get together and you don't actually get to speak to them, because they end up talking to the guests that have travelled a long way rather than talking to you, which they talk to me on the phone a lot. It makes perfect sense, I think. Now I'm trying to decide what colour to do for the other stripe. Now we've got a lighter purple. I was thinking about going along the pink route, and then I realised we've got this what looks like cherry blossom, so I don't think that's a good idea. And we could leave it white, but I think I'm going to leave the sort of frame white. So I'm going to use the lighter purpley colour, the 62. I think this is called lavender. So it's just the same as we were doing before, really. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Having a little look. Yeah. So back across, really simple stuff really, just filling in these gaps. It's just a little bit finicky. No, that's not the right word. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, fiddly, let's use that word instead. Let's just give up. So yeah, I'm just thinking I needed to get on and do this video. I've been avoiding this one a little bit. It's what I do is when I finish the planner page, I turn it over so that I can see what the next week's is, and then while I'm making a few other videos I can get some ideas, you know, and get sort of mentally prepare and think about how I'm going to do it, what pencils I might use, that sort of thing. And sometimes I get no inspiration at all and I just dive in, and sometimes I sort of have a little bit of a plan, never very much of one. And this page I just kept looking at and thinking, ugh, oh no, it's too hard. Did any of you do that too? It's a tricky one, isn't it? But the key with the page with lots and lots and lots of details is to approach it one step at a time, one item at a time. I do find doing larger areas first, for me, makes it feel a little bit better, because then the items are sort of framed so I can see what I've got to do. That might not work for you. You might prefer to do some of the little bits first and get those done and then colour the background around them. There's no right or wrong way. It's always worth remembering that. So if I'm doing it in a way that you think, actually, I'd rather just go down and colour in this cupboard, or I want to do this bunny rabbit, or I don't know if you can even see it, but you know what I mean. Go for it, you know. And you don't, of course, have to follow what I'm doing, you know. Hopefully it will, if you've got the book and you're trying to colour it, it will at least encourage you to have a go, even if you're not wanting to do it the same way. And I know some of you follow along religiously, and some of you do a little bit and then do a bit of your own thing, and that's really good. Either way is good. Excuse me. But I would, you know, some shops have these shutters, they're often red and yellow, but I wanted something a little bit more soft-ish because of the cherry blossom that I'm going to colour. I want that to be pink, and I figured that a red and a yellow thing with pink on, I'm not sure I would like that very much. Yeah, red and yellow, that's what Spain were wearing last night in the football. Of course, it's their flag colours. It was Spain, by the way, that we managed to beat. It's quite amazing to think, actually, that they beat us in the World Cup final and we beat them here. And the coach that coaches the England team, this is the 3rd European Championships that she has won in a row. I think it's amazing that she has done so well. I don't think there's any other coach, men or women's teams, that has done that well, you know. And I don't know if anyone's ever got a back-to-back victory like our women did. For the women, it might not be quite so an amazing a record because there are less teams, because not all countries have a women's football team. But also it hasn't been running for that long compared with the men's competitions, which have been running much, much longer. But I still think it's pretty wow. I just hope that that she stays coaching our girls, because she's been so good. And I was trying to work out why the girls do so much better than the men. The men do okay at times, but you know. And I don't know whether it's because the men get paid about 4 times at least more than the girls. And I wonder whether that's an element, that the girls have got something to prove. We're as good as the men, we deserve the same salary, we are, you know, look how well we're doing type thing. Whereas the men don't have that, you know. Though the men have not won a major tournament since 1966. And the girls have won 2 in a row. Well, they didn't win the World Cup, they got to the final, but they've won 2 European tournaments, which is still a major tournament, in a row. Well done, girls, you know. It's interesting, and my husband he much prefers women's football, but a lot of men who like men's football aren't such a fan. Right, that could be a lot neater. It could probably do with the second layer to tidy it all up. I'm not going to though. Oops, ooh, clutter, crash. What I'm going to do is grab this colour, which is 33. Now it is a blue. If I was using the Staedtler Design Journey, I've actually got a slightly another purpley colour I could have used for this, but I'm not, so I've got to use this blue. I think it'll work for this horizontal line. I think it goes fine. I was considering doing it in black, actually, or sort of grey, as if it was a piece of metal, but I don't really know what it is. I think it's just a way of showing that this bit is hanging down a bit. It's like the fringe, isn't it? There we go. And do the top the same, and then it just sort of ties up and matches, doesn't it? Seems to be a bit sunny at the moment. I think it's 23 degrees today, which if the summer had just come along I would have found unbearably hot, but because we've had days that are over sort of 30 plus now, the 23 seems fine to me. And it's not that sunny. It seems to be a little bit sunny now. Now what I'm going to have a look at now is, let's come out here a bit. is this wall in the background here. We have, it sort of goes up from here, there's an edge there, and then all the way across here and behind this piece of display cabinet. It's not a cabinet, but shelving. So what colour? And I'm thinking I could continue with this blue, but I think it's a little bit dark because these things are going to be, I mean, a dark is quite a good way to display things because they stand out, but on the other hand, something paler might help. So I think I'm going to go slightly paler, but more of a grey blue. This one here, 63, I think it's called a Delft blue, I'm not sure. And I'm not going to press particularly hard. I just want a light layer of this blue. So what I'm trying to do is to get as even a layer as I can, which isn't easy. I'm just doing the best that I can, and I haven't got really high expectations. I'm just doing what I can do, like that. And I'm just going to put that all over the wall so that we've got a base, a background. Now, I realise backgrounds are quite daunting and tricky, but if you just colour it along with me, hopefully it won't be so bad. But also, another approach is to do a little bit at a time. That's how I found, if I've got a really complicated background, now this it's just a bit of plain colouring really, just keeping it light. If I've got a background where I'm doing like a sunset or, you know, mixing up different colours, I've done various different ones before. If it's a lot of hard work, then sometimes I stop and I go and do a bit of the detailing. So I might stop here and do this bit, let's say, for example, and then come back. I do sometimes find I have to be a bit careful because you have to sort of try and do it in the same way. And if you've gone off and done something else for quite a while, you might forget what you were doing. If you were doing it in a particular style or something like that. But you can always make yourself a few notes if you think you're likely to forget, or even if you don't, because you might regret it otherwise. Yeah, especially if you end up going away from it for a bit for some reason, or even, you know, or go to bed or go and watch some TV or something like that, then it's always good to take a little note of what you've been doing, and then you don't forget. What I tend to do is when I go to bed, I leave the colour that I was colouring with on my book, so I remember what I was doing. And I don't always need to do more than just that, but quite often I try and just finish it off. Not like the whole page, but this thing that I was doing in that particular colour, you know, and then I don't have to worry about what it was I was doing and where I was and things like that, you know. Or I don't start anything that's too complicated when I'm really tired anyway. It can be a recipe for disaster. I also try not to start at a new page. So say I decide I'm going to do this page and I grab it and I colour that key, nothing else, and go to bed. I get up next morning, I think, why did I even choose that page? I don't want to do it. So don't do that. If you're about to go out or leave the room, watch a film, go to bed, whatever it is, it's probably best to not just start a tiny bit of something. If you're desperate to colour, then don't know, find something small and quick, not a small element on a huge page. I think that's probably why some people struggle to finish pages, because they start one and they go off and come back after a few days and they can't feel what they were feeling for it then. So they then like sort of abandon it, or they can't get the colours working as they had, or they can't, I don't know, something doesn't quite work, so they then give up. And although to be honest, I think stopping a page when you're not feeling it, I think that's a really good idea, but it's not something I can do. So I end up spoiling the page because I feel like I've got to finish it, and if I'm not feeling it, then, you know, it doesn't look that good. My cat and my microphone just hit the table. I'll lean back a bit. because I just adjusted my position so I could reach this bit better. I've got my pencil on the side and it gives a more sketchy colour, which I think this might be a bit lighter than the other side, but it means that I'm not putting down too much. Like that. I'm going around all the stars. Now, I think we're here. The stars and dots and things I may use a pen for at the end. I'm not sure yet. Oh, I might just... Yeah, see, those are too small to colour around, so I have just coloured over them. But because this is quite light, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. I mean, obviously you couldn't colour white and like yellow on it now, but you could do something. But as I said, it'll probably be easier to do in pen. Ooh. Now my eyes are going blurry, as I guess they might. I'm just trying to look at how much colour I've got down, whether I need to increase it anywhere to make it a bit more even. I feel like there's a lot more here than anywhere else, which is a little bit annoying, but I'm just going to tidy up some bits that look a little bit streaky, where there's little white gaps, that sort of thing. You can always come back and do this at any time, as long as you write down what colour you've used. Then if you see a little gap or a light bit or whatever, you can just come back and just add a few more strokes of colour to it. So it should be okay. Right, I've got a decision to make with regards to this gumball machine. Do I do this? Yeah, I'm going to do the wall through there, because they're see-through, aren't they? I think. Don't really know much about them, to be honest. Right, we're going to do the wall inside here the same colour. See, it's a little bit darker. Now, I was thinking maybe I should do it a bit darker, and then it just started coming out a bit darker. So I'm thinking it might be a bit dark in this little corridor area, because it's not part of our shop. I don't think it's like behind the scenes, isn't it? I keep wondering when Johanna's going to do a flip through of her new book. She promised us she'd do one, but she hasn't done it yet. She likes to keep us hanging on. Suspense. Also, I saw a post from Hannah Carlson saying she was going to do a flip through of her new book. She's got a new Halloween book coming out in August, well, this month, and her Christmas book UK edition, not UK, sorry, English language edition. I suspect it's probably American, not UK. I think I'm going to do a bit here. But yeah, I'm going to be getting Hannah's Christmas book. It was so lovely. Now I'm going to do the door frame in this same colour, but I'm going to layer it up a little bit more so it stands out. And door frames are often white, aren't they? Well, they are in the UK, in England, in houses I've been in England, but they're not always. And we've got a bit of a theme going on here, haven't we? So I think it's quite nice to sort of match it in. And I don't really want to leave some white anyway. Now I'm looking at the floor, and we've got a mat, haven't we, here now? So I'm wondering whether this should be wood. I might do a sort of wood look floor in a bit now. I'm wondering whether to do the stairs in like a dark blue. But they'd probably be wood, but they might be painted. My friend's got painted stairs, they look nice. I think I'm going to go for the blue, but I'm going to not use that blue. I'm going to use the 33, the darker blue. I'll come in a bit closer so you can see. And what I'm going to do is think about where it's going to be darker on it. I'm just going to do a coat, a light layer, Don't press too hard at this stage, keep it light, and then we'll think about where the shadow is. Because I'm thinking the tread is going to be different. I'll talk you through it in a minute. So this bit here, this bit usually overhangs the step, so there'd be some shadow there which would slowly fade downwards. Like that. Yeah, I was looking at all these storage solutions with husband, and I was looking at was it Sharps? Now they do like fitted bedrooms, fitted boot rooms, that sort of thing. And there was this boot room, and it was amazing. Now I don't have a boot room. It's something you get in huge country houses, and it basically had a little bench that you could sit on to change into your outdoor shoes. It had like, just trying to have a look, line you up. We're going to do the floor. We could do it in blue. Should I do it in blue? No, I think it's going to get a bit samey. I'm going to do it in brown. I'm going to do this colour, the 77. I'm going to just roughly... Okay. So, yes, it had several lots of hanging space where coats were hanging, lots of cubbies with bags, picnic baskets, hats, then low down cubbies for your boots, your wellies, you know, all that, shoes, all sorts of things. I'd say a little bench was sitting on. I was like, oh, that looks lush, I'd love a room like that. But no, what I've got is the downstairs cloakroom, which is still more than some houses have. And there's some clothes pegs, coat hooks, on the wall where the coats are hung. And there's way too many coats for the hook, it just looks messy. And then there's a basket on the floor with scarves and things in. Gloves, scarves, summer hats, things like that in it. And that's my my boot room. And there's a loo in there. It's a cloakroom and a sink. And it's tiny. It's really, it's like, there's the loo, there's hardly any elbow room either side. Then there's the sink just to the right of it, just far enough away so you don't bash yourself on it when you stand up. And on the wall opposite you, which isn't full height because it's under the stairs, 4 hooks with coats on, and then underneath that there's a little tiny radiator on the wall and the basket. So it's teeny weeny. Now this unit here I'm going to do, I'm stuck. Do I do the blue theme? Do I do a purple to match the canopy? Or do I move on to a pink? But I'm looking at all these cakes and I'm thinking icing, pink, we've got 2 pinks. I'm thinking we've got lots of different blues. So maybe I should just use a different shade of blue for the cabinet. And it will just look like it all matches. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use number 3. If you love purple, you could use these. And it's up to you. I just decided to plump for blue. So my first plan is to, once I've sharpened this pencil, is to, number 3, is to do a light layer over everything. And for some parts of our cabinet, this will be the only layer of colour it gets. And for some parts, it will get additional layers. It depends. Because the shelf edges, this, like I'm doing now, that probably won't need any more. But the inner shelving will, because of the fact that it will be shadowy. So we'll just get a layer down first, because that's easier. And you may look at that and go, I'm happy with mine just having the 1 layer. And there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever, especially if you're struggling to see. It's a bit tricky. I have got a few thoughts about all these items. I'm thinking that maybe I should make, like all the candies and sweets, all the same colour, so that it's a lot easier to colour them, rather than chopping and changing colour all the time, which takes ages. You put a rabbit there, Johanna. Also thinking like there's some greenery. We've got leaves, got plants on the top, that sort of thing. Thinking definitely going to do all the leaves in the same green. You know, that will make things a little bit easier. A lot of the bottles will be grey, like see-through glass, so that will keep that a bit easier. So I've got these little tricks and thoughts which, you know, by the time I get around to doing it, I'd have completely forgotten and I'll do something completely different. No, hopefully not. Go, and this shelf. Now I realise this bit could be a separate cabinet because he walks behind here. The shopkeeper's going to walk behind that one, so it's going to be much further back than this one, but I'm going to make them both the same colour. And is that the wall rather than... I may be messing this up slightly. Because I'm thinking maybe that bit there, just that little bit from there and there and there and there should be wall colour rather than this colour. I'm going to erase it. I'm sorry, people. So I'll show you with the eraser. Very dirty eraser. I'm just rubbing it on the desk. Oh, sorry. Get rid of that dirty bit. There we go. So just this bit. Thinking that bit is the wall. So I'm going to leave it that light rubbed out colour. I don't think I need to add the lighter blue. But if you haven't done that bit yet, then use the wall colour blue. Fiddly job this, in between everything. Now this could be like a see-through refrigerator type thing, but on the other hand it's cake. They don't always get kept in the fridge, depending on the cake. Yeah, my mother had made 2 cakes for the party, a chocolate cake and a plain sponge cake. The chocolate cake had chocolate buttercream in the middle and then on the all over the outside with melted chocolate all over it, and the other one had jam and plain buttercream in it. I had a slice each that I brought home from my boys, which they ate for their breakfast the next day, which was quite funny. But they didn't want it that evening. I thought it was very sensible. By the time I got home, they'd finished their last meal. They don't really eat between meals, so. Although my son usually has a little bar of some sort of fruit and nut bar on his way home from work, just energy walking. He also eats an earlier lunch when he's at work compared to at home. I'm not sure why. Can you still see what I'm doing? You can. We could be slightly closer, couldn't we? Not too much. There we go. Sorry, it's taking some concentration getting around these lights and this basket. And once we finish this, we've got to come in and do the detailed work. It's like little fairy lights. So this is the door, because in Rooms of Wonder, every page has every double page has a key and a lock, doesn't it? So I guess this is the lock. And the key was, we found the key earlier, it was there, wasn't it? Right. Let's do that bit. Now let's start at the top here. Now this shelf here, this part here is set back, so we need to make it darker. Oops, no, we don't need to make it necessarily darker for the whole bit. I think because there's such a small gap between the items, it's probably better to... Oh. So I'm just going behind the jars and layering up the colour a bit so it's dark. My niece was talking a bit about her art. She's found it hard to do art for a while because she's been studying it, you know, but she's she started doing a little bit again each day, which is good. I think she's been told by her fiance's mother, who I think is also an artist, to keep her hand in, to just do a little bit, make sure she does a bit, even if it's just, you know, a little sketch or something. So she's taken notice of that and she started doing some, which I'm pleased about, because I think she's right. She doesn't want to lose her... It's about, I think it's partly muscular. You know, if you're not colouring often, it gets sore when you start doing it again for a long period of time. So I think there's partly that, but also just keeping your head in it as well, you know. But so she's doing a little bit, some sketching and stuff, she said, which is all good. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, if you find colouring's got difficult, you can just, and shading and things like that, it's got a bit beyond you. You can just fill in the gaps with a pretty colour and just do that for relaxation and fun without having to worry too much about, you know, making it perfectly good or doing all sort of fancy techniques or anything. It's always important, I think, to remember that you don't need to show anyone what you're doing. If it doesn't go the right way, just move on to the next one. It's okay, you know. I am trying to think of which Johanna Basford book to work on next, you know. That's what I'm getting distracted with while I'm colouring this. Because I finished Lost Ocean, and of course I finished I'm just making that a little bit darker because it's too light. I've finished Magic. What's the latest book? Is it Magical Worlds? My brain. So I've basically got World of Flowers on the go, but because her next book is floral, I'm not sure if that's the one I want to do. But it's such an old book, I feel like I should be trying to finish it really. But I've also got World of Flowers and Worlds of Wonder on the go, and Small Victories. I've also got a second copy of Magical Worlds, but we won't go there. That one won't be finished for a while. That one's just so I can make you small videos, because someone commissioned a video and I finished a book. So I bought a new copy. Because the commission pretty much covered the cost of a new copy, and the person said they wanted a few more as well. They've already had 2. So, and someone else has had 1. So it's good. It sort of pays for itself in the end. And I enjoy it, you know. There's some books that I probably wouldn't do that for, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting Hannah's Christmas book, but I doubt I'll colour anything in it this time of year. I did do some Christmas and July stuff this year, but it's not really my thing. You know, it's not something I've done before. I'm not sure whether I'll do it again or not, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the book and doing a flip through. And yeah, I suppose I should colour a little something, but there might be a little thing. Sometimes she has like a little thing. Right, now the very bottom bit I've got to think about. We've got these doors. Now we've got this panel across here, and I'm thinking maybe it might be a bit darker under there. And now the cupboard, I'm wondering whether it will stick out a bit, whether I want to put a little bit of shadow around it like that. And then a bit darker just above this thick bottom piece, maybe. Now I'm fiddling. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave that like that, but I am going to colour the handle and hinges so that I don't forget. And then that will do. We've been doing a lot, haven't we? Gosh. Yeah, I'm going to use the 8 for the handle and hinges. Give it a sharpen. Here are number 8. And I want them to look sort of metallic and shiny, so I'm colouring a lot up in this corner here and down here, and leave a little white bit like it's shine. They look like little fish. The same for this one on the base part, and then we'll colour in the handle like that. There we go. So I think we've done plenty, but hopefully it's a little less daunting because, you know, we've done all the solid areas. So now we've just got all the little bits and pieces to do. I do find the little bits more daunting, but the fact that that bit's done helps me not feel so daunted by it. So hopefully that same is true for you. So there it is. So yes, there we go. Thank you for watching. Yeah, have a super day. Enjoy your Monday and happy colouring.